you do know the individuals, and you were involved, what I can tell you is that in the grand scheme of things, because you didn't have a firearm, and because you weren't actively shooting, you wouldn't cop the primary attempted murder charges, unlike the individuals who actually did. So in saying that, if you did, in fact, have involvement in the original situation, not realizing the severity of the situation, that's something we can consider, and in the grand scheme of things, charges wouldn't be severe.
Yeah,
but again,
what would the involvement be? I have nothing on me. I'm not even talking to these guys. I don't even go to the guy that was somebody who fucking left. I know who Zoe is, but I only know him because I fucking talk to him every day like I do everyone else. I get it. I understand. You guys, I'm gonna go over here next to the bed. If
Okay.
I'm gonna, be paying attention. Just if you need
yeah, absolutely. We'll do. We'll do.
All right, love you. Thank you.
All right.
Just so you know.
Come over here.
SOPs. I was like, how did you know those, King?
Okay, 3 on 1 if you got shot.
Okay.
I read his race.
I almost 320'd
through it all.
Oh, I know when I typed
because I ain't had to 311.
I put 322.
I ain't had to call my call sign via 311. I almost 320'd.
853
Okay. All right.
As of right now, it's 6 counts of attempted murder of a government employee.
Miss Rowan, grab a dash cam for your big please.
10-4, 30 seconds.
I'll meet you out in the side.
Let's see. Anyone familiar with Stewart?
What's his second name? Stewart.
Nightwolf.
Nightwolf.
Nightwolf. His state ID is 6886.
I'm locked in.
At least it should be. Do you want me to let that guy there?
Wait, is it criminally negligent of ownership of a firearm if they use their civilian firearm?
Where you locked in?
No, I'm currently talking to someone, but we'll see.
All right. Can I be real with you?
No.
Mike, he's not unlocking this door right now, so.
Oh, why?
But we do need some time because we're discussing everything over there regarding all that we got. So,
okay.
We do need some time. Give us some mementos. Yeah, I'm sorry. I wish I could unlock this for you. I'm sorry.
Why aren't your keys working?
It just happens.
I can't take your case because I already have a client, but I can give you quotations, legal advice.
All right, one moment.
Oh, he used his own weapon in the OIS.
Yeah. What would that charge you then?
I don't know how I used to do it in the back in the day. They wouldn't get charged with the possession of it, but you remove their license and stuff. I don't know if that's something we.
I mean, I think it would literally just fall under criminal use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the negligent charge is for people not reporting it stolen, right?
Yeah.
It's if someone like has someone else's gun and they don't report it.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is criminal use for that one.
Aid in a crime. No, yeah, criminal use.
Okay, so I will say the individual that I shot could potentially have not been involved. Likely not the case, though. And I say that because I think it was Sully on the ground saying, yo, that guy in the blue jacket, yeah, he had no involvement. I don't know him. And I...
Wait, is Sully... Hold on, wait. Is Sully the one you shot with no gun?
No. Stuart something is the guy.
Nightwolf?
Okay.
Yeah.
Who has Sully?
I have Sully.
Okay, he's getting criminal negligent of class 1 because the guy I have has his class 1.
Yeah.
So he's getting it for mine.
Oh, that was... Yeah, he had 2 guns on the scene then?
Yeah.
So he had his own gun and then someone else had his gun. Yeah, that I was gonna say that.
This sounds like they attempted to consolidate illegal shit to get someone out, and then That's not what happened. And that's probably why... So Diablo had the stuff, right? That's probably why he had a motorcycle. So that he could just grab the shit and dip. Right?
Well, they didn't even have this stuff, though. It was still in the crate, no?
Okay, but once they realized shit's going south, PD's already here. Response time was very quick to that. For context, the moment I started to open that crate, that alarm went off at Mission Row.
Yeah.
So they was opening shit bitch quick. That's when we got there.
Yep, and they just didn't get through because they wasn't certified.
Okay, girl, that's enough for him.
Well, that bike was... I don't think he left on that bike because it was disabled. It was smoking when we arrived on scene.
How is it disabled?
I don't know. It looked like he crashed it into the pole.
He said that somebody hit him.
No, when we got on scene, he was on it and it was already smoking. So he could do what he did, like he could like push it back, but he wouldn't be able to turn it on.
Is anyone familiar with Stuart?
But yeah,
no,
a bit. Is he ever hanging out with people? Like these people involved?
I only see him on his own, though. I never really see him.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm
gonna be real.
Removing licenses?
I think it's just a matter of documenting and then clicking the X or whatever.
Yeah. I just put it.
He doesn't even have a profile picture.
I mean, unless no. All right. I'm likely going to have Stuart released. Do I suspect he's involved? Yeah, I do. He was running out of a sort of dead-end alleyway. There's no, like, throughway unless he came from the direct area in which shots were fired. For context, at Sentinel XS, he pretty much ran past straight towards me while individuals behind him were opening fire. Now, I wasn't going to give nobody the opportunity to fuck with me. So he got shot, and then I shot the individual directly behind the Sentinel XS. I got hit. That's when I took cover, but Stuart was already down at that point. And then the individuals, I believe there were two at the time, ended up going down behind the Sentinel. I think one ended up on the roof, probably climbed. I don't know what happened to the other. So I'm content with releasing Stuart, and if we obtain information at a later date, you know, indicating that he is involved with these people, that's fine. But at the end of the day, this is not an area that you run through, this alleyway specifically. To get onto that upper level and to head in that direction that he was coming from, he would have had to have entered from the lower level, go up the ramp where the felon was, and then go into the alleyway where the Sentinel was.
Would you like me to add him as criminal scope?
No. Don't add him as citizens involved.
Okay, well then don't threaten me, bitch. Think I give a fuck?
All right. So I
Okay, well, I'm gonna take him out of here. These
all right.
measures.
I'll also get his profile picture before we release him.
Here we are. All right, I'm gonna go release Stuart for the time being, and I will let him know that, you know, obviously we're still actively investigating, which is why we're not pursuing charges against him specifically. Yeah, give me a moment. Do.
Can I get a picture for his profile before we go, or is that not?
No, not if we're not arresting him.
I want to show off my picture skills.
Stewie!
Stuart!
Hey, so you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what's gonna happen. For the time being, you are gonna be released, given the circumstances. Unless we have any additional reason moving forward that comes up within the next 30 days, whether that be, you know, essentially your affiliation to the other parties involved, indicating that you would have been a willing participant at this point, or anything to that extent. We do have statements made that sort of make that implication, but not something I'm willing to push at this time. So you are going to be released. Were your possessions taken from you?
Oh, I only had bread in this. No, I didn't. I had a, I have a piece of bread and I'm good.
Okay.
I didn't take
All right.
anything else.
So here's what I can do. I'm gonna provide you with the report number alongside my name. Give me just a moment.
I would see if there's any duplicate.
All right. Are you good with remembering things, Stewie?
Yeah.
You are?
Fuck yeah, dude. I'm like the bash.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's gonna be report number 5231. You got that? 5231. All right. I'm the person who shot you. My badge number is 130.
No.
My name is Matt Rhodes.
No, I don't give a shit. No, you go, baby.
Are you sure?
Well, I'm not. What are you? What, you giving me that to like for a report number? I'm not gonna report. No, you go, Bob.
Well, here's the thing. I want people to have all the information available given the circumstances, because the reality here is, at the time, given the shots being fired, given where you were coming from, given the fact that the people literally also right behind you, were pretty much shooting past you towards me, given the specific sort of, I guess, is geography the word I'm looking for, of the area? Like, this wasn't necessarily a sidewalk that people typically walk through, right? To get to that upper level and head in the opposing direction towards me, someone would have to have...
You good.
The thing is, like I said, I like to ensure that everyone has all the information available, okay? I don't want there to be any sort of confusion, all right? But the long story short is you're being released.
Well, I've dealt with, I know you, we've talked enough. Well, I know you're not a fucking asshole. I'm not going to be, you guys are all sweethearts. It is what it is. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? I just want to go, you know?
Fair enough.
But I fucking, well, don't even worry about it. I don't, if you guys have to arrest me later for whatever, it is what it is. You don't have to worry about the case now. I get it. I understand.
Okay. All right. Sounds good to me, Stuart. All right. Now this is a formality. I know you don't have anything on your person. I do have to place you in cuffs. You can walk. I won't shackle you. So if you just face away from me, I'll get those on and I'll walk you out. Okay. Here we are. There we go. All right. All right. Go ahead and follow me. This way.
Traffic westbound, Hallway Avenue.
There we are.
Power Street is a blacklisted 2 times.
Stewart.
And Stuart, do you need a ride anywhere?
I got shot. What do you mean? I'm allowed to.
I wish I shot you, Charlie.
Oh my gosh!
I'm gonna lose it. Get me out of here, Stuart.
With the
I fucking hate this.
Why are you gonna lose it? Because people are dumb?
This is the second motherfucker, third motherfucker today that is cell rep that has lied to me, bro. How am I supposed to lie to you guys if they lie to me, bro? Like, what the fuck?
Whoa. I might as well be a cop at this point. This shit is ridiculous. What the fuck are we doing here?
All right, this way, Stuart.
Don't fucking scoff at me. Shit.
I'm disappointed.
All right, let's go ahead and get that locked up.
Bro, you're telling me, bro, that motherfucker was on the scene?
Who?
That piece of garbage behind me that's supposed to be my brother, but I can never remember his name.
Can I
Who's supposed to be your brother? Yeah,
this one that looks like
not your, no.
Looks like the guy from Full House.
There you go, bud.
Well, here's the thing, all right? I got shot on that scene, all right?
Me fucking too, dog.
Yeah,
well,
I did that.
You know what?
I'm not gonna lie.
Happen.
You made me chuckle when I asked for your name and you said target practice.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm trying to be professional up here, and
Listen here, theoretically, I am disappointed that I didn't have a gun. Theoretically, because now that I know that you were on the scene, I wish your name was.
Oh my gosh! Don't say that.
Theoretically.
Don't say that.
It's a criminal threat.
No, Minecraft. That's
You
what I
just
meant.
you just wish you went to jail so you wouldn't be the one that didn't do anything.
No joke. Bro, that I was so far in that I was like, God, take me to jail. It was so worth it at this point. Fuck me. But anyway, no. I love you guys. You're great. Except for Damien, you're useless as shit.
Oh,
I
why
don't
do
know
you
how
why do you look like the kid that died in It?
Why do you look like every YouTuber in 2003 that wanted to join an Azalea dying? Where are you? What the fuck are you talking about, bitch?
Oh no.
Bro, you look like the guy.
All right, we got stuff to do. I'm sorry. We gotta go. We gotta go.
All right, let me talk to You'll Float too.
Oh my god.
Damn it. When they're funny, it makes it hard.
All right.
Thank you.
I got doors.
Perfect. I am going to take both of y'all up to the evidence room this way. I can't utilize the other door because it is stuck.
That's fine.
I'm gonna be real. This door here and the one up here, I don't even know if it's ever worth locking. Half the time there's a sign that says don't lock it. Out of habit, I do probably, and then the door stopped working. Oh, you see, leave door unlocked. That's why.
There we go.
All right. So, oh, not through here. Wait, this way. My bad.
Before we start, do you mind if I run into the restroom? I'm sorry. I have
Yeah,
small
absolutely.
splatter
Yeah,
and
you're good. You're good.
assistance. Thank you.
Yep. Anita, if you need to as well, feel free. I'm gonna take a look at the VR stuff. So, I'll need
grab some drinks in the
Okay,
meantime.
perfect. Replay the scene. Dun dun dun. Oh. I want to say this the person who shot me. Because car was here. Or was it here? No, car was here. Let's see, 7974.
Alpha 64 weapon.
These piled on each other.
10-2.
Damn, the fuck?
Weapon check. Are you okay?
How come we can't? Oh, there we go.
I'm all good, man. I'm all good.
Why can't I see the casings? Are we intended? Uh-oh. Take me back. Okay. All right, you good?
Yeah.
Don't mind me. Just eating my chips. All right, once Anita's back, we are good to discuss the evidence portion of things.
Okay. So just to review, because I know there was a lot happening and you had to help with somebody's 95. So I took Stuart, made sure he could see, read him his rights as we were walking in.
Yep.
He then got distracted by Damien, so I re-asked, hey, I read you those earlier. Can I just get a verbal confirmation? You understand? He says yes. I make sure he gets food. I make sure he gets water. Make sure he doesn't have any weapons. Is there anything else I should have done?
No. Unless he indicated he wanted an attorney, then providing one, obviously in this case, given the circumstances, he was released. He was very likely to have been involved, truthfully, given the circumstances. However, in saying that, there's a difference between knowing something and a difference between proving something, right? It's not about what you know, it's about what you can prove. What I know is that he was involved, right? Nobody ends up in that area, coincidentally, claiming to have been on a walk. In order to get to that area, if he was just walking through, he would have had to enter from that lower ramp where the black felon was, and, like from the ambulances, up the ramp, immediate left, and then out that way. If you're going on a walk, you don't enter a sketchy alleyway like that. And if you do, I would imagine you'd stay on that lower level and cut through as opposed to do some weird circly bit. But the reality is he doesn't have much of a record. And, you know, with saying that, if this was an individual who, let's say, lived with these other people, which we can't prove, or has, you know, many priors, all of that would play into, you know, him being in the vicinity. You know, how'd he get there? Who was he with? Stuff like that. But we didn't have anything with that. And I will say, again, I was the one to shoot him. At the end of the day, I had a good faith belief that he was involved in the situation at the time. Officers were being fired upon. I mean, literally directly behind him, people were shooting. And the interesting bit is that Sully, the guy who was on the floor screaming, you know, who's that guy in the blue jacket? Y'all know who I'm referring to when I say blue jacket? The guy who got arrested.
I thought Sully... No, Escobar was in the blue jacket. Okay, never mind.
Escobar was the blue jacket. So, again, I think it was Sully. It could have been someone else. One of them was like, who's the guy in the blue jacket? I don't know this guy. Porn acting. It was atrocious. It was very obvious that he was involved, right? But you have to understand, it's not about what we know. It's about what we can prove. And then you can use a lot of foundation level stuff to build that case. For example, he technically did nothing wrong originally, right? He was detained. 100%. He was informed he was detained, not under arrest. Now, given the fact that we were just involved in a shooting, he was frisked. Upon frisking, actually, we'll exit here for now, and then we'll come back once we go through. Oh, sorry, excuse me. We'll talk over here. All right, right here. So, the way, strangely enough, Diablo got arrested was not because we can prove he was directly involved based upon actions, but because what we're legally allowed to do in regards to, you know, investigations and building a case. So in this case,
that would be like Terry versus Ohio, where...
Correct. He was Terry frisked, right? Again, just detained, not under arrest, Terry frisked, and upon checking those weapons, guess what? He had a firearm not belonging to him. Guess what that means?
He's arrested.
Exactly. And you know what else that means?
His house is getting raided?
No, not quite. But
oh, okay.
We were able to determine that one of the 95s who was positive for GSR and did shoot officers, that was his gun. He had a gun not belonging to him, and one of the downed individuals there was the registered owner of that gun.
Oh.
Now, how do you try to say you weren't involved, right? And all it was in this case was a frisk, which we can legally do, which then resulted in an arrest. We further looked into it, and again, that gun didn't belong to him. So, the other thing is, the order in which you do things is quite important. For example, in this case, it comes down to officer discretion ultimately, but in this case, it makes more sense to frisk an individual and then GSR test them. And the reason is, a lot of times it's sort of interchangeable as to how you do it, but if you are, let's say, looking around for an individual who is in the area of shots being fired, and you GSR test them, they may come back negative despite having involvement. But when I say involvement, I don't mean actually shooting the gun. But somebody could have shot the gun and then handed it off to somebody else, right? So GSR testing doesn't necessarily rule somebody out. You know what I mean? Because if you have two people side by side, let's say you two are in the area of a shooting, and let's say Anita was the one who shot. Y'all are friends, and you know how this is going to play out. You know you're going to get GSR tested, and you know you're going to get frisked. And you're like, you know what, Aphrodite, take the gun. Hold on to it. They're not going to do anything. You pass the gun over, right? And this was illegal, right? You shot someone and then handed it off to... Second?
Does anybody know how to lock down a property? Or a house?
Okay. So, again, you hand it off because you know I'm a GSR test. You're going to come back positive. And I'm going to ask you, why are you positive for GSR? And you can be like, oh, I was hunting earlier, blah, blah, blah. I look at your profile. I see you have a weapons license, right? And Aphrodite's here. And Aphrodite's like, yeah, no, you can GSR test me. I don't have anything, blah, 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 right? The entire goal being to get me to just GSR test, but not frisk. It's important to do both in a majority of scenarios. There are scenarios where you kind of want to do one over the other if possible. If you generally believe that like a person wasn't in the area at the time, let's say a law-abiding citizen that you run into daily and they're just doing sanitation, they're just in the area, right? You want to cover your bases, be like, hey, listen, I'm not gonna frisk you. Would you consent to a GSR test? Most times they say yes because they know they're negative for GSR. Sure, you might encounter someone who may not, but it is what it is. But in most scenarios, you do both. You frisk, you GSR test. One doesn't necessarily trump the other because, again, circumstances of the scenario. Exactly. And you may not you may not be privy to the entirety of the the situation that occurred. In this hypothetical, what if the person, let's say, I mean, we'd have to change things around a bit, but let's say someone attempted to stab Anita here, right? And Anita had an illegal firearm. And that's why Anita handed it off to Aphrodite, right? You then have to start looking around for more than just guns in GSR tests. You need to be frisking people for, melee weapons. And remember, frisk is for weapons only, and is an over-the-close pat-down. So just to be clear, unfortunately I wasn't there for Academy when this was covered, but when you are going through their pockets just to grab those weapons, you're not seeing anything else.
Yep, 100%.
All right. In this case, like I said, that individual was shot, based upon the circumstances there. And straight up, if it came to it, I would go to court and indicate very clearly I had a good faith belief that, given the circumstances, given sort of the area that they were in, the fact that they were actively running in my direction, essentially charging towards me, while shots were actively being fired, I had every reason to believe
with a gun.
I had every reason to believe that the individual was involved. But that is why we have qualified immunity. At least I think we still do. Who knows? It's never been written anywhere before, but I'm gonna assume we do. Which essentially means that, if we're doing something within the capacity of our job and it was a reasonable call that officers, would have made, and it's not as a result of any sort of like gross negligence, then the officers are not held responsible legally, which technically does mean, yes, somebody can get shot, but the officers not get in trouble legally or even civilly. Now, regarding evidence, I do apologize. Under normal circumstances, I would have had y'all collect evidence and, go through the motions of putting it in the evidence locker and whatnot. But the reason we didn't...
so much evidence.
There was so much. Obviously Aphrodite went down. We were also juggling the fact that the individual that we claimed as a 95, and when I say we, I mean collectively as a group, was negative for gunshot residue. When frisked, didn't have anything on their person, right?
I know we at least have done evidence before. At least me and
we
have
have
done it
like
once before.
Okay, if that is the case,
practice, but just letting you know, we have.
Did y'all go through VR related stuff as well?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna call.
I was like, I don't know what that is.
Trust me. Oh, it's gonna be good. Only one of you can do it at a time, but let me call Alice. Give me a second.
I think she's locking down property right now.
Give me a second. Hello.
Hey, Alice, I'm gonna make this quick. For VR and evidence related stuff, are we good to take photos in VR? Like of where the stuff is?
I don't see why not.
Okay, all right, just making sure.
That's what I would say you could. Ultimately, if you went to court, then you would they would go into the VR and see the VR, right? That's the whole point of it. So, I mean, if you take photos, it just kind of makes things easier, right?
Yeah, not only that, I believe only one person could do VR at a time. So like, if this did go to
just makes it
court,
easier.
yeah. All right, perfect.
Yeah,
All right,
I don't
thank
see
you.
why not.
All right,
Goodbye.
Okay, this way. Come here. This gonna be an experience for y'all.
I'm so excited.
We're gonna first look at the bit that we can all look at once. So right through here, we have some. Oh, I do apologize. If you need some quiet time or space, you might wanna leave here. By the way, I'm gonna be explaining stuff. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
All right.
I'm
So,
already dead tired anyway.
if y'all take a look at the report, it is 5231, or the incident rather. Sorry. Off to the right-hand side, do you see the evidence tab?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. So to the right of that,
Sorry,
don't click anything yet. To the right of that, do you see view map, which should be the center icon?
Yes.
Okay, I want you to click on that. Just know that you can zoom in a considerable amount. And obviously this is a case with a lot of evidence, and it's also consolidated in a relatively small space, right? But do you see how important this would be in a situation where, let's say, evidence were collected over a larger area, or even, let's say, somebody were shooting from a vehicle and casings were on the ground, and you could sort of follow a trail of them if they were picked up and submitted in evidence, and so you could literally pretty much, you know, document exactly where these things were happening. In addition to, you know, blood being on scene, casings to indicate where shots were being fired from. All right. Now, if you back out of that, nobody click on it, but to the left of view map, you'll also see a replay scene button.
Mm-hmm.
So when you do that, you're going to place a VR headset on. Again, based upon what I recall, only one person could do it at a time. I'm going to explain a few things prior to one of y'all doing that, which is, number one, you're likely, with it being VR, you're likely going to feel as though it's sort of like an outer body experience, if you will. You can look around in the immediate area. Should you stray too far from the scene, you know, the VR headset's going to shut off. While you're within your VR headset, oh my god, understand that
another one.
Understand that you're not picking anything up there. It is for the sole purpose of seeing where everything was, and you can take photos, essentially screenshots of the VR headset, for an easier view on where evidence is. Anita, I'll have you do it first. So go ahead and click on replay scene. You won't be able to hear us. We won't be able to hear you. But take a look around. Give it some time if things don't look correct at first, but you'll see that you will see all the labeled evidence, you know, where the casings were, where the blood was. And once you've sort of, you know, taken a look around and familiarize yourself with it, go ahead and take the headset off, and then I'll have Aphrodite do the same.
Okay. Chips?
Yes. I don't have many more, so
I just need one to not starve,
and then you're gonna have to go to the vending machine outside.
Oh, fine.
Or in the lobby, rather.
So hungry.
All right. Yeah, I'm inclined to believe that the reason this wasn't gone over in Academy is because only one person can do it at a time. And if that's the case and it can't be sort of mass taught, that it's intended to be taught with an FTO.
Maybe. I had to miss one of the days, so it might have just been taught on that day. And I
well, so I had to miss a few days as well. Unfortunately, it was scheduled. Are you with us?
That day, so I was like,
I'm here.
Thoughts?
They were asking for me on the radio. 804 is okay.
All right. Thoughts, Anita?
Yeah. So it looks about right.
Mm-hmm. Right? And so think about this, right? Let's say your suspect had a gun on his person and claimed I wasn't even there. Not there as in like there at the scene at all, but like I wasn't on the rooftop shooting. That wasn't me. Well, guess what? You go and check what casing. You go and check what casings came out of that gun, compare it to there, and bam! Suddenly, you have photo evidence of exactly where they was.
That's
right?
Sick.
All right. Yep, Aphrodite, go ahead. Put that VR headset on.
I have one question.
Ask away.
Is there a limit to like the amount of evidence you can have in one incident?
Girl, I hope not.
Well,
that's my answer.
Like, half my pictures are gone.
What were they titled?
Alleyway evidence.
Okay, I see pictures 1 to 7. You may need to refresh if you don't see them. And by refresh,
no,
just click...
I see those, but I added up to like 12.
You added 12? Let me take a look.
And I see them in there, but I don't know if someone took them out.
Okay, so
I put them in again.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good. You're good.
You're good.
When you say 12, did you do alleyway evidence, and then did you put number 12 as ammunition's crate evidence?
Yeah, but there's like...
Okay, let me take a look. It's possible that there is a limit. I'm scrolling. Yeah, it's possible. Because I do see that it was submitted, because if you go to evidence and scroll down a little bit, you'll see...
Yeah, because I saw them when I first put them in, but I don't know if maybe they got pushed out once more stuff was added.
Okay, so the weird part is it's not attached to a report.
I definitely attached them.
Yeah, that would lead me to believe...
One?
Well, so we can't really attach a piece of evidence afterwards. I see what you're talking about, though, because, like I said, I see it in the evidence tab, like the left-hand side tab, not the evidence tab in the report. I see them all here. So why it disappeared, I don't know. The only thing I can possibly think of is the amount of evidence essentially made it overwrite it, which is problematic because in large-scale situations, which, I mean, think about this. Our first one in Shift 3 and OIS and... yeah, I'm going to bring that up with Barrick so it can be forwarded to the IT person because that's problematic.
Yeah. But
can you do me a favor? Can you look for alleyway evidence number 7 in evidence off to the left-hand side? Try to resubmit it, and I'm curious to see if anything is going to change.
What do you mean resubmit it?
Okay, so go to evidence, unless you have the URL ready. Do you have the URL?
I can grab it.
Okay, well, so you can grab it from evidence. So on the left-hand side, click evidence, right? Scroll down a little lower than halfway.
Oh, you mean like re-add the evidence?
Correct. So I want you to copy the same title, like alleyway evidence number 8, I think, because I think I saw 7 in the report.
7.
So let me double check.
Did you say 7?
I probably did, but I may have missed it. I see 7, so you're looking for 8. So grab that, copy the title, copy the link. You know, sort of paste it elsewhere, notepad or something for the time being, and then go back into the incident, add a piece of evidence, and I want to see if that will be added, or if that's like, you know, if you were to add this and suddenly one of your other pieces of evidence is missing, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to figure out why that happened. Trying to narrow things down here.
Here, let me try.
Yeah, you're good.
But do I delete the original one? Or do
well, there's nothing to delete in the report. Unless you're
seeing in the report, but it's in evidence.
So you can't delete that. I just want you to resubmit it within the actual report itself.
Okay,
10 iron?
I'll do that.
It's up to you.
What's
Okay,
the
it's
call
there.
sign?
I see it.
Here we are. Incidents. Let me take a look.
1, 2, 2. There we go. I'm just writing my report.
No, you're good. Yeah, I see it as well. So that makes me curious as to why those
Should I
others aren't
just try
showing
to
up.
add them one by one? Like when I go to assign evidence, it lets me reassign the evidence that I had uploaded.
Are you talking about when you see the most recent pieces of evidence when you're adding new evidence?
Uh-huh.
I mean, that might be a workaround, but I don't know if it's just now updating that to be in the report and other pieces of evidence are being, like, removed. I have no idea is the issue.
I don't know either.
I mean, ultimately, I know you did your job. So, you know, it is what it is. There's not much else we can do.
If they end up having to do like a court case or something, the evidence, if they look up alleyway evidence, they'll find it.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Let me see here. Give me a second. PDF.
Also, question. So,
Ask away.
Can we start writing our statements as other people are writing their statements?
Yes. So you can concurrently write your statement alongside other people in the report. But I will say this. If you have a report open, let's say in the middle of your statement, you save, you put down your MDT, right? If somebody else begins editing that report, you will very likely run into issues. For example, keep the report up. Okay, how am I going to word this? Okay, keep the report up, but, you know, put down your MDT.
What?
No. Keep the report up as like an active window in your MDT, so that if you were to pull your MDT back up, that's like what it's opening up to, if that makes sense.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so just go ahead and well, you still got your MDT in your hand. There we go. Okay, so I have a question. Do you know how to open up your primary dispatch? Not the little one, but like the full-on one.
Yes.
Okay. So what I want you to do, here, take a look at me. You see this here? Okay. Is that how you're opening your primary dispatch?
Now that you ask me to do it, yes.
Okay.
That's not usually how I do it.
Okay. So the reason I bring that up, are you struggling right now to keep that open?
Oh, well, yes, but when I need to keep it open, I just do it the way you showed me just now.
Well, no, not dispatch. Close your dispatch, but hold open that.
It's closed.
Okay, hold open that one. Attempt to. Okay, are you seeing what I'm getting at? Are you having a problem keeping that open? Okay, so I, for example, am someone who opens my MDT that way. A lot of people are. I mean, obviously, you know, we can make it a little easier on ourselves. But let's say you are trying to do something, right? I don't care what it is. Let's say you are trying to open your dispatch. Let's say you are trying to open your MDT. Let's say you change your radio frequency utilizing that. You see how it is very difficult to keep open at the moment? Alternatively, let's say you were attempting to GSR test somebody. Guess what's going to happen? You're going to accidentally swing at them.
Right.
So that is the risk you run by keeping a report open in the background of your MDT. If people are actively editing it, the reason that's going away is because the MDT is actively moving, essentially. That makes sense? Put it this way. That report is never being closed. It's just being shoved down, if that makes sense. It moved out of your face.
Right.
But things are still happening, which causes problems. Very experienced officers have not had this happen to them, and then they're like, what is wrong with me? That is why. That is exactly why it's happening. So keep that in mind. I just want to bring up some nuance to our job that we have to deal with. But yes, get your report in. You know, if you need to write it separately, I recommend writing it elsewhere and then pasting it into the MDT. Just so that you always have a backup. The MDT does have copies. I'm so sorry. That's what happens when you keep a report up. I just needed to give you an example. One moment.
You just weren't learning. Clearly, we weren't learning.
Oh, you pissed me. Oh, I'm so upset.
I'm so mad. How dare you upset him like this? Look at him. Look at him.
Oh, I'm so mad.
He's so mad about that.
I'm pissed.
No, he's so mad. That poor water cooler just can't take it anymore.
I got it. All right,
good.
My report's closed. We're good.
You feeling better now?
Okay.
Feeling it now?
We're good. Well, we're good. We're good. Is everything okay?
If I could have you review my statement and let me know.
Yeah, let me just open up my MDT and take a look.
Please do.
Yep, just sort of a formatting formality. You typically want to make sure that your name is bold, highlight it, Control B, makes it easier. And then you want to quote your statement. So just highlight over it, and then when you're given the options, just go ahead and click the one that looks like a quote. And that way it sort of just falls under your statement portion, and it's very clear as to when it ends.
How do I
so when as you currently have it highlighted, when you do that, you should get prompted with the like being able to bold, italicize, underline. Sometimes if that happens,
now it works.
Okay, perfect.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. It's fine. You will also likely run into the issue of, okay, so Aphrodite, for example, if you were to go into the next line, so click on the period after your mask, like, okay, now enter to go to a new line. Do you see how it prompts with the quote?
Yeah.
Okay, to get rid of it, type a space. Well, let's say you were going to continue with, let's say, a statement from a victim, right? And you don't want that. So when you press enter, which do again, what you want to do is you want to put a space, then highlight that space, and then remove the quote. That way, moving forward, you don't have an issue.
Oh, okay, I did it.
But otherwise, every time you would press enter for a new line, it would prompt with that quote thing to the left-hand side. The only reason underneath it doesn't look bad is because Anita has started a statement.
Okay.
And so it's essentially new lines completely unaffected. But for every new line after yours, it would happen.
I was told to not use this language. I'll take out code 4 and say all clear. So I went up until my injury and I passed out from it. Should I continue in the cells as well?
Yes. You want to essentially document everything you had a role in. Because although, reports can can be FOIA'd.
You said something. Please say it again. Apparently,
Oh, no, you're
races
you're
are
good.
happening outside of this building.
Can you hear me?
We're all in together. No, I got you now. It's
Okay.
just-
So, oh gosh, I lost my train of thought.
Reviewing
So when writing your report, the important thing is that you are not to indicate what other people did. For example, If you are on scene,
Okay.
well, no, not what they. Okay, to be clear, we don't want conflicting information in reports. And so, if one officer says something and then you write something that you thought you heard, or here's a hypothetical. This will make it easier. Let's say I search someone and they had a gun and I don't know, 3 magazines on them, right? And I call out over radio, yeah, this guy has a gun and 3 magazines. In your report, I don't want you to say the person was then searched and found to be in possession of a gun and 3 magazines. Because the implication there is that you have essentially verified that they were in possession of it. Now, if you did actually search the person and they were in possession of a gun and 3 magazines, then yes, you put that in your report. And again, the reason is, let's say there was some confusion. Let's say it was a large-scale scene. You may have been referring to one person, but the person who called out over radio indicating they had a gun and 3 magazines may have been somebody else. And we do not want to give attorneys any sort of wiggle room when it comes to, well, this statement indicates that this person had it, and you have another officer saying that this other person had it. How could 2 people possibly have the same, firearm and magazine? You know what I mean? Which is why it is important to only indicate the things that you have done. In saying that, that is different than communication regarding why you did what you did. For example, if you shot somebody and the reason you shot somebody was because Captain Slack said the individual with pink hair, bright blue shirt, and bright yellow pants there to be shot for X, Y, and Z, right? And you roll up on scene and you see that person fleeing, you give them a warning on the megaphone, they fail to comply, you shoot them, right? You need everything justifying your actions there. And if that played a role in it, then that is exactly what you indicate.
I have so in my statement, I talk about what I witnessed Faye do, like in a shooting. Is that okay to have in there? I talk about how I witnessed her shooting the guy in the monkey mask while he was shooting me. Should I take that out?
I personally, I wouldn't include it because it goes back to Faye should be the one indicating that she climbed onto the rooftop and shot down, whichever person, if she's aware. In addition, there are a few, to be clear, I haven't read the reports in their entirety yet, but it does indicate, stayed with Officer McMahon till the situation was called all clear. Changed that until. Till is kind of like not formal. And we want there to be a level of professionalism within reports that is expected of the
good.
PD.
I'm just from the country, so I'm used to.
No, you're good. You're good.
So please let me know, because that's.
Is then passed out. Do the gunshots from the left foot from the individual in the monkey mask. See, that is perfect. That is perfect. Specifically indicating that you are shot by the individual in the monkey mask. That is actually very, very important. But again, back to the whole, if you weren't present and Sky said she got shot by the individual in the monkey mask, you don't put that in your report based solely on a verbal statement.
If I save the incident, would that affect anyone else's?
No, it'll just save its current format in settings. So there's no downside. The only thing I recommend is if you are loading up a report, don't immediately save it. Hold on. Because sometimes when you open up a report, especially if it's a relatively big one, it can be empty. And the last thing I would want is for a report that was fully filled out to be empty. We do have ways to resolve it. Like I said, there is a save history. So we can revert back to an older version, but if we can avoid that, obviously we should.
I think my statement's done.
All right, let me take a look. I'm going to read them both, and I will give y'all feedback. Repeat that? Sorry.
I was just asking, Manny, do you mind if I read it as well, just for reference? And
Yeah, of course.
Okay, good. I just want to ask permission before I go snooping.
It's in the infinite. It's okay.
I know. I just. I'm also Catholic. I'm sorry. I have a lot of guilt. It's a lot of guilt. Okay. A lot of country Catholic guilt. All right.
All right, so Theos, your statement is good. Now, if we were in charge of, I mean, let me take a look here. It seems as though Dexter pled guilty, Sully didn't, Diablo didn't, and Zach did. If we were responsible for evidence collection, and this was a scene worthy of, you know, a breakdown of everything, if you were the officer, you know, going through VR, you would then start putting specifics in your statement regarding stuff like that. For example, going through evidence to determine who was in possession of the firearm that shot McMahon, for example. You would take those projectiles, you'd find matching casings to determine where they, you know, where they originated from, where they ended up. And that would be in your statement because, you know, you were the one to go through VR and identify who shot who, if possible. It's not always going to be possible. But again, casings, to clarify, are going to be where the shots originated from. Projectiles are going to be where they ended up. And you won't always have a projectile and you won't always have a casing. For example, if somebody's shooting from within a car, most times we don't get casings. Those casings end up within the vehicle that they're driving. If somebody shoots a car, that bullet is likely lodged in that car, but we get vehicle fragments, and those vehicle fragments indicate the color of the vehicle that was shot. Now, if you're dealing with an all-white car, an all-black car, that may not give you much information in the grand scheme of things. But let's say, you know, someone's driving a lavender, I don't know, SUV, right? And on dispatch, all you see is shots fired from a Sultan. And that lavender SUV, you know, no one's reported it. Locals are calling that shots are being fired from a car, but we never see it. But we see vehicle fragments along where those calls were made. We can likely suspect that, you know, they were shooting at a lavender and colored vehicle.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I got you.
Hold on. Trying to see if we have any vehicle fragments in evidence.
There was one. I saw it. Yeah, this one.
I've been looking at some other earlier evidences just to like see how they're setting up all their evidence. And
You said the, let's see, vehicle fragments. Actually, are they in here?
It's like right
perfect.
under Diablo. Yeah.
Yeah. So, actually, hold on.
I feel like locking doors are so loud it freaks me out.
Oh, it is. You're not wrong. So, I'm unfamiliar with what the other or the identifier would be here. What I can say is, you see that other information. You may have to you may have to open this up.
Oh, okay.
Gonna be.
Go first.
We should all be able to look into it. 5231 for incident. And then it's gonna be right after all of the blood samples. Kind of looks like a yellowy. Oh, I lied. That's not it. It's above it. Sorry. Almost looks like our tourniquets.
Yeah.
To the right of the ammo, above the blood. Okay. Do you see where it says other? It says 51, 51,
Yes.
51. Okay, so that is going to be the, if I recall correctly, red, blue, green combination, which then determines the color. Okay, so if you were to, yep,
Oh.
give me 1 second.